It's game week for your Seattle Seahawks as they take on the Baltimore Ravens. We did a lot of talk this week about trades and the trade deadline, and now we shift our attention to Sunday as the Seahawks face one of their toughest challenges yet, a Baltimore Ravens team that's tied for the best record in the AFC. Lamar Jackson looks like an MVP caliber player. The defense in Baltimore is as good as any defense in the National Football League, and it's a road trip to the East Coast. This Seahawks team certainly going to be tested on Sunday in an early morning matchup. You want the Seahawks to beat the Ravens. Here's what I need you to do. Like today's video. Don't jinx it, okay? If the Seahawks lose, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to see who liked the video and who didn't like the video. And I don't want to have to come find you, come knock on your door because you didn't like today's video. So don't jinx it. Like today's video for a Seahawks win, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the injury report for the Seahawks. And I got to tell you, it looks a lot better than it has previously. Phil Haynes looks like he's probable. Good chance he comes back. Kenny McIntosh, Austin Falu is questionable, and then Abraham Lucas is out. Still not quite ready to make his return from that knee injury. You can see a theme there. Offensive linemen and then knee injuries for the most part. On the Ravens end of things, their injury report, a little bit smaller, but some notable names. Marcus Williams with a hamstring injury. He's questionable. Tylan Wallace with a hamstring injury. He's questionable. And then Keaton Mitchell with, you guessed it, a hamstring injury. He is also questionable. I'll say this, for week 9 for both these teams, the Seahawks and the Ravens, they're both in a good spot for this late in the year when it comes to the injury front here. Especially the Ravens have had some terrible luck when it comes to the injury front over the years. You're feeling pretty good if that's all you have for the time being. You can work around that and be in good shape. Later on, I'm going to give you my prediction of how this game is going to play out. I have my keys to victory here in just a moment. But now it's your chance to get the crystal ball out and tell me how you think this game is going to play out on Sunday. Predict the final score. Who wins? What's the outcome? Get that comment section. Let us know how you think this goes. Now, our keys to victory for a Seahawks win. Let's start with Lamar Jackson. And I got to tell you, the Seahawks got to do whatever they can to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. To put it simply, Lamar Jackson is a different quarterback outside the pocket and inside the pocket. And we've seen under their new offensive coordinator in Baltimore, Todd Monken, the passing game under Lamar Jackson has drastically improved this season. But it's two different worlds. If you can contain him in the pocket compared to when he is outside the pocket, he's a different quarterback. I mean, you take a look at the passing chart. This is just last week for Lamar Jackson. You can see his throws inside the pocket. There weren't too many. But outside the pocket, a lot of green. Green means good. White means incomplete. And there wasn't a whole lot of white on the outside as Lamar was really able to maximize and look good when he was on that outside. And that was where he was at his strengths. So far this season, Lamar Jackson has thrown for 17 touchdowns, close to 2,300 yards. He has been really good this year. And to me, that's the key, is don't let him get out in space and scramble for extra yardage or throw on the run and all that. If the Seahawks can contain Lamar Jackson, keep him in place, that'll go a long way for this Seahawks team. Number 2, I grew up going to church every Sunday. And my dad always encouraged me, son, bring your Sunday best when you come to the church, when you come to the pulpit. And for Geno Smith, we haven't been seeing him wear his Sunday best the last few weeks. He hasn't played to the expectations of what we know and love from Geno Smith. He needs to bring that Sunday best. Wear the suit, wear the vest, the 3-piece suits, the dress shoes, all of it. That's what I want to see on the football field from Geno Smith. The Seahawks the last few weeks have been winning in spite of Geno Smith's performances. Not because of Geno Smith, but in spite of him. And this week, going up against this Baltimore Ravens team, you cannot expect that to result in the same outcome like we've seen previously. If they're playing in spite of him, they're not going to win this week if that's the case. Here's the numbers from the last 3 games from Geno. It isn't pretty. 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 66% completion percentage. It hasn't been good. And for the Seahawks, for Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and everybody involved, they should expect more out of their quarterback, plain and simple. Think about this. QBR, I know that it's a funky statistic, but I think this is a telling sign. You don't have to be a QB guru to just kind of get perspective on this. Geno has only registered one game where he's had a QBR of 70 or better this season. Just one time. That was week 2 against Detroit. Every other game this season, it hasn't been good from Geno when it comes to QBR. So, with that said, who's going to play better? Is it going to be Geno or is it going to be Lamar? And if you honestly answer and say Lamar, I'm not going to hate you for it. You're just being real with me. Tell me what you think. Who plays better? Is it Geno or is it Lamar? Type G for Geno. Type L for Lamar. What quarterback is going to play better this weekend? Chime in that comment section and let us know what you think. Number 3 on our keys to victory for the Ravens, winning for the Seahawks, winning the turnover battle. And for me, it's twofold when I look at winning the turnover battle for the Seahawks. It isn't just protecting the football. It's also creating turnovers and getting that extra possession or two out of the Baltimore Ravens team. Because think about this, on Baltimore's end of things, when they've lost, it's when they've had turnover issues. We saw there was a stretch where Lamar had a big problem of taking care of the football, where he was fumbling left and right for weeks on end. And in their 2 losses this season, they've lost the turnover margin -2 in both losses against Indy and in Pittsburgh. So statistically, if you win the turnover margin against Baltimore, you win. Simple as that. Now, think about this as we flip to the other side of things. The Ravens, meanwhile, are undefeated, 5-0, when intercepting at least one pass. That's tied for best in the NFL this season. So what that bull stat tells me here is that Geno's got to bring that Sunday best, right? No turnovers, no interceptions. One interception from Geno, you lose this game, is what the stats tell me. Bring the Sunday best, Geno. No turnovers. Meanwhile, create the turnovers on the other side, win that turnover battle. Today's show is sponsored by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code Seahawks125, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. The Seahawks are an underdog this weekend, 6 points to be exact. The over-under is set at 43. You can get your bets in now at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125 if you want to play along today and bet on Seahawks football all season long. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. Number 4 on our keys to victory is red zone offense. And, you know, I got to say, this has been an issue of sorts for the Seahawks when it comes to red zone offense, finishing drives and, leaving points on the board. And when the Seahawks have lost games this year, they typically aren't capitalizing on the red zone like they should. And now they face a tough test of one of the best defenses in football, who is arguably the best red zone defense in the league. I tell you guys all the time, you got to stay out of the friend zone, get into the end zone, right? Here's the statistics on the Seahawks to put this into perspective. The Seahawks have converted just 50% of their red zone drives into touchdowns this season. Half of them. That's 19th best in the NFL. That's in the bottom half of the league. The number was worse a couple of weeks ago. It's gone up a bit, but it still ain't good. For me, it's real simple. It's back in the ball to Kenneth Walker. And Smitty and I, a couple days ago, we had somebody in the chat asking, why are the Seahawks not running north-south down in the red zone and running east-west? And I said, well, it comes down to the offensive line. They get a little too cute sometimes, whatever it may be. I mean, run north-south, get it to Kenneth Walker, and go at teams. Your best weapon in the red zone is your star running back, Kenneth Walker. Run the ball, pound the rock with Kenneth Walker, and capitalize in the end zone that way. Currently, he's tied for 7th in the league in rushing yards, tied for 4th in rushing touchdowns. And last week, I know the Seahawks won last week. I'm not complaining about a win, don't get me wrong. But Kenneth Walker only carried the ball 8 times. That should never happen. there should be no world where Kenneth Walker only has 8 carries. Now, Zach Charbonnet looked really good last week, and he got a decent amount of carries. But that just shouldn't happen. You need Kenneth Walker to play a bigger role in your offense as far as I'm concerned. I mentioned Kenneth Walker. What do you guys think? Name a player that needs to step up this week for Seattle. Chime in that comment section. Let us know who that is in the comment section below. Subscribe now for daily Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, as this week we are going to be live again for our watch parties we've been doing all season long. I know it's been a crazy week on the channel with the trade deadline, but you better believe we're going to have a hell of a time this weekend for our Seahawks-Ravens watch party. Our coverage will begin bright and early, 9 a.m. Pacific time with our pregame show, and then we'll count you down to kickoff, and we'll have a few drinks on hand. We'll party and hopefully celebrate a Seahawks win right here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you then, 9 a.m. this Sunday, right here on Seahawks Today. Last but not least on the keys to victory is taking away Zay Flowers. I got to tell you, I like Zay Flowers. I'm a Zay Flowers fan. I loved him coming out of Boston College, and now he has looked fantastic for the Baltimore Ravens. One of the best, if not the best, rookie receivers in the league. Flowers, so far, has been Lamar Jackson's favorite weapon this season, and he's been consistent. I know that Mark Andrews is their star tight end, and Mark Andrews is on his way to being a Hall of Famer someday, but Zay Flowers has been the most consistent weapon that Lamar has had week in and week out, finding ways to get open. So far this season, Zay Flowers has got 44 catches, 461 yards, and a touchdown, and we're seeing him improve each and every week. Now, if I'm Pete Carroll, Clint Hurt and company, kind of game planning, how do I slow down Zay Flowers? This is what I'd be looking for. If you want to take him away, his biggest weakness is finding optimal holes in zone coverage. Stay in zone, try to keep those openings away from Zay Flowers, and it'll be a great way to slow him down and limit his impact in the offense. He's still going to get his to an extent, but you can slow him down potentially if you focus in that way. I got my prediction in just a moment, but your turn to give us your prediction here on Seahawks Today. Who wins? What's the final score? Get that crystal ball out and let us know how you think this game is going to play out. So to recap, our keys to victory for the Seahawks. Keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. Geno Smith, bring your Sunday best. Don't make mistakes. Got to be on your A game. Win the turnover battle. Goes on both sides. Great turnovers, but also protect the football. Red zone offense. Run the rock with Kenneth Walker. Get those touchdowns and take away Zay Flowers. If the Seahawks do all those things, I think the Seahawks can pull off an upset. I know they're a 6-point underdog, but I think the Seahawks can win this game. 27-24, close game, down to the wire, two very good football teams. But I like the Seahawks to find a way to get it done. 27-24 is my prediction. If you enjoyed today's show, if you want a Seahawks victory and don't want to jinx it, like the video. We certainly appreciate it. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.